Are we on, Sam? Are we sure? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think we're on now. People's watching.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, right, thank you. It's Lee Anderson, Member of Parliament for Ashfield and Eastwood on Facebook Live here at my constituency office in Sutton Ashfield. Today I have got my good friends, Rory from Enlighten the Shadows and Graham Link, 31 years of coal mining. Is that correct?
Yes, very
And a very good friend of mine. And the reason we're here is we need to chat about male suicide. It's the biggest killer of young men in our country. Young men under the age of 40. It is at an epidemic level. And the reason I'm involved now is because it's something that was not really on my radar to start off with, but sadly Graham lost his son Sean just before Christmas. Just a few days before Christmas, and Rory's got his own story to tell. He, like I say, he runs a support group. So, Graham, I want to start with you. There's going to be lots of people watching this, either on Facebook Live or later when they play it back. Just tell me briefly, please, about your experience just before Christmas and your son Sean.
Oh yes, I'm Graham Link. My son Sean Link committed suicide on the 20th of December of last year. Me and his mum Julie had no idea he was suffering with any mental health issues. It come out of the blue. He came to visit us the night before he did his deed. There again, didn't show anything. He was laughing, joking, come to pick his work clothes up for work next day, because I actually worked with Sean. In fact, he was a close friend, never mind my son. No idea whatsoever, and he went and did it the following day. Spoke to his friends, family, they're shocked as we was. The police have actually took his phone to try and get some information from it. At the moment they're unable to do that. He had no financial difficulties, nothing, no drugs, there was nothing that could have made him do what he did. We know now we've got to live with this for the rest of our lives. We now know we might never, no answer, we'll never get an answer to why he did it. Luckily for me, I got in touch with Lee, and Lee got me in touch with Rory and Enlighten the Shadows, who are helping me tremendously. And now I want to try and repay them, get some funding together, and hopefully no other parent will go through what me and Julie are going through.
Graham, can you tell us what's been happening in your life over the past week to 2 weeks in your campaign to raise suicide awareness? What have you been up to?
Well, luckily for me, I got invited down to Parliament with Lee. I met several MPs, even met a Lord. Brilliant, the most friendliest people I've ever met. I had a 35-40 minute meeting with the health minister. She was so helpful, she listened. The things that the government are going to do for us is going to be brilliant. It comes to fruition.
Now, Graham, you sat in that, we did a Westminster Hall debate on teaching suicide awareness in primary schools. You was there.
Yes.
There was the gentleman from Papyrus that were there.
Yes.
In fact, the whole public gallery was full with people who had lost loved ones to suicide. That was quite emotional for me speaking in that debate.
Yes.
What did you get from that debate in Westminster Hall?
A lot. Until it happens to you, you don't fully understand suicide. You really don't. The statistics as well. It's the biggest killer of men under 50, which has actually gone up from 40 to 50. There's 12 to 14 young men a day committing suicide. A man that commits suicide, on average, has 45 other people, family members and friends, that go through the pain. It's just something that's, well, it shocked me, it shocked his mum, it shocked all our family and his friends. Nobody, to the extent, you could say ruined our lives, might be a bit strong, but it's not far from it. Luckily, with Enlighten the Shadows, it's going to help a lot more people. Nobody else is going to suffer again.
So, Graham, I'm going to come back to you in a minute.
Yes.
And, just have a chat with Rory now. Rory, thanks for coming along.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You've set up this support group,
Yes.
Enlighten the Shadows. Now, this is not just come out of thin air.
No.
Could you please explain to our Facebookers why you did this?
Yeah, it's good to be here, and thank you everyone for joining us. Enlighten the Shadows was actually birthed out of utter tragedy, a bit like what Graham was saying, and I just want to make clear to anyone who's watching this, suicide is for us all to work together and help, and it's about being preventative, not responsive. And I totally agree with Graham. When you've experienced it in your life, like I did, back in the darkest month of my life, which I refer to in the end of February 2020, I've been waiting for children for 5 years now. Still hasn't got there yet, but we'll see what happens. I'm in a good place with that. But me and my wife have been waiting for about 2 years or so at the time, and you know, we've gone on this mad fertility journey, and there's quite a taboo with men. Like, we automatically think, oh, bloke's going to knock up his missus, and you know, that's the right way of putting it. But
anyway, you want.
yeah, well, our mantra is real talk, real men, so we just say it how it is, and this is what we're like with men. So we've got to confront those issues. We've got to confront these little taboos with men, and I was suffering in silence, and my wife sadly miscarried, and it was, I won't go into too much detail in case it can upset people watching, but it was one of the worst miscarriages a nurse has seen at QMC, and I saw the pain that my wife was in, and then literally 3 days later my dad calls me up, similar age to yourself, Jensen. That your generation's quite stiff upper lip.
I'm not as old as him, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Big age gap. Big age
Just be
gap.
clear, I say roughly. But yeah, so he's crying on the phone, calling me, and I'm like, Dad, what's going on? I had to ask him 3 times what's going on, and sadly, similarly like yourselves, Alicia, my stepsister, went missing. She was an NHS doctor up in Greater Manchester, and she suffered with alopecia, but we didn't know it was, you know, her mental health took a big dip, and so she took her own life. My dad found her, the police were there, and so I was dealing with my baby loss, and then stepsister dying. So I went into like proper, you know, male, step up to the plate, support my wife, support my dad, and I pushed my own feelings aside, which is classic case for men, is like suck it up, get on with it, man up. And just be clear, lastly with this, with Enlighten the Shadows, it was born out of my utter destruction, but I had a choice to make. So we've got to find a balance, fellas, and people watching, with stoicism, where you've got to be strong, you've got to be strong, and today where we're going really far the other way, where people are struggling, that we've got to get to the root of that and support them so we can uplift them and build that resilience. So that's what I did. I set up a podcast trying to help people, and that was how it started primarily. In literally the darkest moment of my life, and I can say this on camera to people, that I'm comfortable with my darkness, I'm comfortable with my pain, because I've learned to go there and feel it rather than ignore it.
What has the response been, Rory, since you started doing this?
Breathtaking, humbling. Literally, we were a YouTube channel trying to equip and support men with different topics. We go into this flipping lockdown on and off for 2 years, and men had not seen anything like it, and they're contacting me, and I'm like, flipping heck, I've got to create something here where men can talk, because it's hard for us, you know, football changing rooms, construction sites, down the pub, having a crack with your mates. I'm all for that, and we completely champion that and like them, but it's right, where's the place to talk? And so the Facebook group grew from nothing to like 500-ish men quickly within a 6-month period, to now it's like closer to 700 men talking. Then there's this is beautiful, the groups now grew without me having to do anything, because it's a team effort. These lads set a private chat in the group where men can talk, like on a Facebook like this, where people comment. And it's all popping off, and it's now we're getting to this culture where men are lifting up each other, men are listening to each other. It's not just the enlightened team. So it's incredible. I'm just going to
interrupt there, because this is a very serious subject, as you know. I've just got a few idiots that's commented online. 30p League has done more harm to mental health of British people than he'll ever admit to. Look, please, if you're not interested in taking part in a debate with real people who've been on a dog journey, then please just switch your Facebook off and go and do something useful with your life. Let's get back to you, please, Rory. I would imagine that when you're having dark thoughts and you're in a dark place, that not the physical pain, but the pain inside must really hurt. What sort of pain is that? Can you describe that to me? Because it must be a terrific pain for people to want to go to sleep.
Yeah. It can feel and it can appear different for everyone, and how it happens in different time frames varies. So I personally believe, along with all the studying I've done with professionals like Rory O'Connor, who's a suicide specialist at Glasgow University, I've really scholared myself in this, and I really believe men, the way we're wired is we don't reason with our emotional intelligence as effectively as women. So women are better at chatting, offloading, whereas we see red mist per se 0 to 100 quicker, and if we feel something, we feel it, and I think we can catastrophise is the key word quicker. And so what I sadly see is 75% of suicides from NeuroNS data is men, and I think just the way that we wired, the way we built, it's like, right, I'm done. It's too much for me. And a lot of people who have attempted suicide and thankfully survived say, I instantly regretted it, but I just wanted the pain to end. And the question you're asking, it can be a mental pain where you're sluggish, you're tired, or you've got no fight for anything. The things that you love, the people you love, that diminishes. Or it can be just a physical thing, like a gut thing, where you feel it, you just sat there and you've got nothing inside yourself, no fire in the belly, if you know what I mean. So it can vary for a lot of people, and the behaviours I've described this before, to reach from feeling down to then enter into depression over a good period of time, up to at least 3 weeks minimum, to then prolong and I don't want to be anymore. It can vary. So it's quite tricky to surgically pinpoint where it is, but it just varies for everyone. So my biggest statement in your question is, any change in behaviour, whether it's an increase or decrease, that could be something there for it.
A lady called Sheila here has put, it says, to be honest, when you get to the point of being on the verge of suicide, you don't feel pain, you feel numb. Eventually,
I totally agree with that. There's nothing there. It's like a grey mist over yourself, a fog, where some people just don't, they just don't feel anything. And that can be really dangerous.
Let me come back to Graham for a moment, please, Rory. Graham, you've been quite active since this awful event over the past month or so.
Yes.
And like I say, you've got me involved.
Yes.
You're an ex-miner.
Yes.
Same as me. We tend to class ourselves as hardened men that's worked in a hard industry, that's been brought up on the streets of Ashfield. We've not been born with a silver spoon in our mouths. We've had it a little bit rough when we were kids growing up.
Yeah.
But I guess the pain hurts you as much wherever you're from in this country and whatever your background.
Yeah.
And you're on a mission now, my friend, aren't you? You're on a big mission. Tell us about your bike ride and your running and your fundraising. You can even talk about my piggy portraits if you want.
Oh yes, you've supported me a lot, Lee. Thank you for that.
Let's talk about what you're doing.
What I'm going to be doing. In fact, a week tomorrow I'm doing the London Half Marathon with friends in memory of our Sean, because he originally planned to do it himself, so several of us going to do that in his memory. Throughout April we've got 3 big football games, 3 charity days. One at the Old Mills ground on Friday, the 28th, there's one on Benting Welfare, Sunday the 30th, and I believe we've got one at Pinkston on the 9th, on the Sunday. We're also, the month after, I believe the 20th, we're going to be, the 20th of May, we're going to do a spin-a-thon at the Festival Hall in Kirkby, 3 hours spin. Then on July the 1st, which is going to be the big one for me, I'm going to be cycling 1,000 mile in 9 days. I originally said 10, but I'm going to do it in 9 days. All the money that I can or will raise will be going to Light in the Shadows. to support that fantastic group of people.
It is a fantastic group, and I'll go back to the debate we had in Westminster Hall, Graham, like just last week. And I mean, the debate was about putting suicide awareness on the school curriculum.
Yes.
Now, what sort of difference do you think that will make? You know, getting into schools and as specialists in schools, maybe counsellors having a team in schools to talk about, be able to talk to young children if they have any dark thoughts, or just to promote the awareness. What sort of difference do you think that will
I think it will make a big difference. From year 7, I believe that the health minister was going to bring it in. There's no certain age when you can bring young people into it. They don't listen to the parents as much as they should do. In the school curriculum, with sex education and other things that they do, this will be so important. And it will be enlightening to them to get them to listen and ask questions. But you have to be very careful when you're talking to young people. I know that for a fact. They could take it the wrong way. So you've got to have specialist counsellors in. The school teacher can't do it. So school teachers can't do it. You need specialist counsellors.
I think that's interesting what you say, Graham, because I can't think of a different word, a different phrase to put this in, but young people are online a lot now. Things can become fashionable. Self-harming can become fashionable. Dark thoughts can. And I think at one stage you told me that you think that Sean may have been looking at the dark web.
Yes. Well, social media is a big part of it in my mind. I understand this dark web is so bad. I believe, Sean, I'm not 100% certain, was on it, but talking to people who might have dabbled in it. Well, I brought it up at the meeting with the health minister regarding stopping this so-called dark web, because it is ruining lots of people's lives, which I believe the government are acting now.
Online as well, Bill. Yeah.
Social media is the biggest thing. That's for me, and it's got to be policed a lot more than probably what it is.
So what would you say, Graham, to any parents just watching this now or later that's got children or young people or just children, and they're having, and their behaviour's changed, or they're having doubts, or something's changed in their life? What would you say for them?
You start at the basics. Firstly, you've got to talk to your children, boys, girls. You've got to talk to them. You've got to try and understand. You've got to tell them about the downfalls of the Facebook and the internet, social media. It's never too young to start. But talking is a primarily you've got to talk. You really have. I don't think I can remember talking to my son, Sean, about Facebook, about social media. I don't think I did. With hindsight, I wish I had done. I mean, he was 30 years old when he did it. Just nearly 31.
Yeah, but you think your kids know more than you, don't you, on IT stuff and social media and that sort of
I'm
stuff.
not computer literate, never have been. But talk to your sons, talk to your daughters, tell them the pitfalls of Facebook, social media sites, before you don't fall into what happened to me and his mum.
So, Rory, you've listened to Graham's story, you've been meeting with Graham, I know you have.
Yes, we have, yeah.
How does his story compare to the other people you talk with from Enlighten the Shadows?
That's a really good question, and I think what we have here is a shock tragedy. So we've got some amazing young man who's got years ahead of him.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of him. He's way better than the spot.
That's not difficult, though, is it?
No. Well, no. He's a good footballer. I've been into football as well. He had a life ahead of him, and he's gone, and it feels like an injustice and robbery. And you've got what I see a lot, and I'm not just saying this to blag to say, we're an effective group, but we've not lost one man on our watch, which I find nothing short of a miracle. I don't know how, because at the end of the day, what we have to accept is it's in their hands. It's their choice at the end of the day.
Yes.
We can love them ferociously and talk often, but the choice is always in their hands, and they have to know that.
Yeah.
So with our group, we've got a lot of men who are never present as having mental health struggles, but they access us because we're we're in your face and we're out here to come and get you and find you because we love you, we care about you, we want to empathise and validate your struggles and take you on a journey. But what we're trying to do is reach the Seans of this world who we don't know, but they might know, and they're not given anything, but by, you know, these beer mats in pubs, these posters in sports clubs, you know, anything we can do is just reaching into men, because this is our demographic, sadly. It's the men who don't chat, it's this alpha male, it's the stoicism, it's the I've got it all together, but in here I'm hurting.
I guess what we're going to do now, Rory, if Sam can, just put a link to Enlighten the Shadows Facebook page and website under it. But I just want to speak about Sean a little bit, because Sean was one of those young men. He was a good looking young man, handsome man, big lad. He lit up a room when he walked into any room in the pub, you know, and people would turn their heads, especially the ladies' room, if he walked into a pub. But not a big head, not conceited, nice man, friendly, always laughing. I used to sit with him and his mum and dad sometimes at the weekend in our local pub, the Dog House in Kirkby, and we'd have a laugh and a joke, and his dad Graham would tell me some tough stories about his days underground, his days being a footballer, a rugby player, a cricket player. In fact, there's nothing this man hasn't done that he's probably been the best at in Ashfield. Is that fair to say, Graham? But no, seriously, we'd have
100%.
We'd have a right good laugh, just giggling, you know. And when it happened, I mean, I found out through social media. I was gobsmacked, and for me, not just as a member of Parliament, but as Graham's friend, I didn't know what to say to Graham. I wanted to reach out to him, I wanted to go around and give him a cuddle and say, but there was a block there, because I thought he's going to be going through all these emotions, people's going to be knocking on his door and ringing him, and I just didn't know what to do, and I didn't need support myself, but I just needed someone to tell me, what do you do? And then eventually we reached out and went round to see him, and it was heartbreaking for me. I wanted to see him, but I didn't want to see him, because as soon as I saw him and Julie, I saw the pain. I saw the pain behind the eyes, and you can see it, and there's no words you can possibly say that's going to make that pain go away. Now, I know that they say time is a great healer. It probably is. I wouldn't know, because I've never had that pain. And I suppose things can get a little bit easier, and especially if you like Graham, he's a grafter. He's set his mind on something now. But that's not the same for all families, though, is it, Rory?
No. But I'm not doing this today, Yoss.
No.
I don't need to. Enlighten's not into politics, just to be clear. So I've seen, sadly, a lot of comments, and we're not going to engage in it. This is everyone's responsibility. Yeah. But you're doing it now. So the things with suicide, when you're bereaved by it, life moves on, right? Yeah. People move on. Yeah. But guess what? The people you've lost, it stays here. Yeah. And so the best possible advice I could give to someone is, if you know someone who is close to you, who has lost a loved one to suicide, is just keep showing up regularly, because they're telling you something. Everyone will respectively help you show up, offer advice, condolences, cards, but in time, people move on with their lives, because it's just, that is the world. So my greatest encouragement as someone who's been bereaved, 3 years plus down the line, and then now I've lost my best friend's wife in November just gone, is allow them to feel the pain. It's going to hurt like hell. Allow them to cry on your shoulder. Encourage them. Ask direct questions. How are you feeling? And then ask them again. No, seriously. They'll go, yeah, Sam, all right. No. How are you feeling? Have you been feeling like you don't want to be around anymore? Asking direct questions like that is going to help. I promise you. There's proven research scientifically that if you ask someone directly, are you suicidal, or do you want to not be around anymore, it's not more likely to increase someone to feel more suicidal. It's been proven.
And why do you think it is?
That directness.
Why do you think it is that it's 75% of suicides in this country are men?
It's roughly that proportion worldwide.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's a social issue. like say something we're doing in the UK is wrong.
Yeah.
It's a global scale. Like it's disproportionately men.
Yeah.
And I just think personally we're more risk takers, and I think the West particularly, shall we say,
And more impulsive.
yes, I think boys are raised differently to girls. If a young boy falls over in the playground, this is what we're saying, it's a very good question about the school stuff. I've worked in the primary schools as a behaviour specialist, I've done all this stuff. Social emotional skills is crucial in the first 7 years of someone's life.
Can't cry, can you, before you fall down as a boy?
Get up, come on, be alright, brush it off, dust yourself off. Girl, oh, cool, come here, darling, come here, sweetheart. Put your arm around them. And I get we have roles that have been existing for thousands of years, but what we're actually doing is saying, no, don't feel that, invalidate that, crack on, and what we learn is push it down, push it down, push it down. And then eventually, boom, we have an explosion later down the line. So I relate to that massively, because I would say I'm the last generation, grown up in the 90s, I was born in 88, grown up in the 90s of this, come on, get on with it, crack on.
Yeah.
So it's not good. We need a bit more balance where we're saying, like Graham said brilliantly, just talk, just ask them direct questions. Oh, I've noticed you don't quite see yourself, even from a young age, because 90% of your brain is developed by the age of 7. It's crucial. So social emotional skills, it's happening in school, but it needs to keep happening. But the issue is funding. Teachers are struggling, and then you've got TAs running around flying, but you need children who've got severe emotional behavioural difficulties, who aren't regulated, they're in survival mode, which is the brainstem kicking off, running around the classroom, chucking things, and it's disruptive for everyone. The child's not accessing learning. We need to learn to provide that support that you're on about through counsellors. And I've seen a counsellor work in a school, and it works brilliantly. So yeah.
Thank you. So I'm going to finish now, Graham, with you. You're going to have the last comments on this subject, because you are a real person. You are a real person that's going through pain. You know, and it's easy for me to say that I feel your pain. I can feel that you're in pain. I can't feel your pain. That's impossible for me to feel the pain that you're going through. So I just want you to tell, in the last 2 or 3 minutes, tell the people who's watching what Sean was like.
Sean was a fantastic young man. He'd been around the world, played football, semi-professionally. He had everything going for him. I mean, everything. That's what makes it worse for us. Because we had no idea. Why would he do what he did? If for 1 second he thought of his mum, me, or our dog Millie, his brother Mark, his nephew Ezra, he wouldn't have done it. I've been told by professionals that he would have had no idea. He just focused on doing what he did. But to find out why he did it, that's the thing that's going to take to my grave, because I know we'll never find that out. Fundamentally, it's talking. You've got to get your sons and daughters, you've got to get them to talk. That's the basic principle of everything. I'm sure, if he fell out in the shadows, I'm sure was aware of these lads, he wouldn't be where he is now. I'm convinced of that. I know of no other parent to go through what me and his mum's going through at this moment. I have. I mean, I've not said this before, but I have had thoughts, I want to join him. I've lost all fear from anything. People who know me, I had a fear of dying most of my life. The fear of just dying. All fear now has gone from me. Everything's gone. And I have had thoughts of wanting to join our show. I have. I really have. And I go to bed thinking about him, I wake up in the night thinking about him, in the morning I'm thinking about him, throughout the day I'm thinking about him. Me and my mum go to his graveside every day, have a word with him, and I give him a mouthful as well, what he puts us through, I do. But what he must have gone through in his head, I just can't imagine. To do why he did what he did, I just cannot understand why. And I'd say I would take that to the grave with me. Now I'm doing all this fundraising, it is taking my mind off them bad thoughts that I have had. It really has. I don't know what the future's going to hold, but And all these lads for me out the future.
Well, that's powerful stuff, Graham. Graham, thank you. Rory, thank you. We're not going to let this drop. We're going to end the session in the next 5 seconds, Sam. So, well, thanks for listening. You've got the links, you've got my contact details. Graham's going to carry on his campaign. Rory's going to carry on doing the splendid work that he's doing. And remember, just talk.